that will help Zion reach its next dimension in Christian ministry?
I don't know if the other candidates do not have this quality, as a matter of fact, many of them do. But the one thing I think that God has gifted me to do is God has placed a gifting on my life for growth, for developing persons so that the whole process moves forward. In Girard, South Carolina, God allowed me through teaching ministry to share with the local preachers and exhorters who now are the leading pastors of the PD conference. Same thing at Shaw Temple. It is through the teaching ministry, the development of the Shaw Temple Biblical and Leadership Institute. Those persons now are leaders in the church. Growth is a result of training and teaching and bringing persons to a place where they recognize that once they're equipped, they can serve at the highest level. And that's what has to continue to happen in Zion. We got to continue to invest in persons the way I was invested in as a product of the Christian Education Midwinter Meeting. That has brought me to the place where God has blessed me to pastor at Shaw. I think that will take us to our next level, investing in people.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Crenshaw. Dr. Michael Frencher.
Same question. Would you like for us to read it again? Okay. What distinctive qualities separate you from the other candidates that will help Zion reach its next dimension in Christian ministry?
Okay, I believe that, as Dr. Crenshaw has stated, I don't know if these others possess these qualities or not, but I have the privilege to serve as an adjunct professor at Hood Theological Seminary, and I have the opportunity to actually engage students from all across Zion Methodist, Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Michigan, and other areas. And I've had the unique opportunity to listen to them and they explain to me what's going on in their particular areas. And so I think I bring to the board of bishops a uniqueness in knowing what's going on all across the church because of my being a professor at Hood Theological Seminary has allowed me to engage these individuals. And I thank God for the opportunity to deposit within them teaching and training that will help us all as we meet the challenges of the Daily Zion Church together. So again, I bring to the table the uniqueness of having the opportunity to converse and to teach students from all across the Daily Zion Church, which gives me a very global view of the church and its challenges that are before us.
Thank you, Dr. Frencher, for that response. Dr. Kenneth James.
What distinctive qualities separate you from the other candidates that will help Zion reach its next dimension in Christian ministry?
And I think I would concur with my fellow candidates that all of us bring gifts that will be valuable and worthy of the church's consideration. But for me, at heart, I'm first of all a pastor. As a pastor, I'm a theologian. And as a pastor also, my primary concern is teaching. And I think the greatest need that the church has, not just the Daily Zion Church, but the church universal, is for teachers who can teach systematically, methodologically, logistically, the tenets of our faith and also the scriptures. There's so much heresy that is going out here in the guise of truth. And somebody has to stand up and defy that and say that is not the way of Jesus. And that role, I believe, belongs primarily to pastors, and pastors who then become bishops, because I believe that bishops are an extension of the pastoral role. So that would be what I think I would bring specifically.
We ask now that Dr. W. Darren Moore approach the mic. I have that same question, Dr. Moore. What distinctive qualities separate you from other candidates that will help Zion reach its next dimension in Christian ministry?
The genius of the fathers of our church is that the Board of Bishops is a compilation of unique gifts, so that there are 12 leaders in the life of our church rather than any individual. So each of us bring gifts that will bless our church. But let me summarize what I see my gifts as being in 3 dimensions. One is increase. I've had 4 pastoral charges: Monroe, North Carolina, Greensboro, North Carolina, Indianapolis, Indiana, and Greater Centennial. Each of those appointments witnessed more than double of membership during my tenure. The best way to know what somebody will do is to see what they have done. Increase. Secondly is integrity. We cannot call others to be what we ourselves are not. We must be people of integrity. And thirdly, inspiration. Because great leaders do not move people by intimidation, they use inspiration.
Thank you, Dr. Moore. Now we ask Reverend Anthony Witherspoon. We'll present that same question. Would you like us to read it again, Doctor?
What distinctive qualities separate you from the other candidates that will help Zion reach its next dimension in Christian ministry?
First of all, I'd like to thank God for all of the gifts that God has granted to all of us here on the stage. God has given us the wherewithal to do various things in Christian ministry. I've had an opportunity to pastor 5 churches in the area of Zion Church. All 5 needed healing. God has used us to bring healing to churches that have been wounded. I've also pastored churches where there was important for us to bridge gaps between age categories. My 27-year-old has asked me in recent times, how come the church won't allow young adults to work alongside those who are senior adults? God has blessed us to show forth a way to bridge gaps so that there is no us and them. All of us are part of the same family. I think God will use me to do the same across Zion to bridge the gaps so that we can have an effective church, an effectual church as we move on to do the work of Zion Methodism.
Thank you, Reverend Witherspoon.
Reverend Dr.